The sound of the mailbox lid slamming shut used to bring me peace, the sound of routine, of small-town life. But that day, it brought rage. I stood in my driveway, holding an envelope from the Homeowners Association with trembling fingers. The numbers on that bill didn't make sense. $5,000. My electric bill had skyrocketed overnight and for reasons they refused to explain. My name's Daniel Harper, a 52-year-old electrician and father of 2 grown kids. My wife passed away 3 years ago, and this small house in the Lakeside Meadows community was the only piece of normalcy I had left. It was peaceful, quite a broken bar until the HOA decided to turn it into a playground for greed. When I opened that bill, I thought it was a mistake. I called the utility company first day. They said my account was normal. "We don't send HOA-adjusted invoices, sir," the lady said. That's when I knew something was off. So, I went straight to the HOA office, a shiny building at the center of our neighborhood, all glass and fake smiles. Behind the front desk sat Karen Mitchell, the HOA president. Picture every stereotype rolled into one: pearls, perfume, and the kind of smirk that said she'd been waiting for someone to argue. "Karen," I said, slapping the bill on her desk, "why is my electric bill $5,000 higher this month?" She looked at it, pretended to care, then said, "Mr. Harper, your house violated HOA energy guidelines. You've exceeded the monthly usage limit. The surcharge is listed in your homeowner's contract." "What usage limit?" "I live alone," I said, my voice shaking. She shrugged. "We're trying to keep the community sustainable. It's for everyone's benefit." That's when I noticed her office saw the glowing chandelier above her, the humming air conditioner, the bright TV screen in the corner. Sustainable for everyone, a broken bar except them. I left her office furious, but also suspicious. That night, I started watching. I checked the electric meters around the neighborhood and what I found made my blood run cold. The HOA had rerouted power from several community facilities at the pool, the clubhouse, even the security lights into a single meter, mine. They were using my line to power their fancy clubhouse and monthly parties, and I was footing the bill. I felt sick. They were stealing from me. I went to confront them again the next morning, armed with pictures, readings, and proof. But when I walked into the HOA meeting, they laughed in my face. Karen smirked and said, "If you keep causing trouble, Mr. Harper, we might review your eligibility to remain in this community." That was their warning, a threat. But what they didn't know was that I wasn't just some helpless homeowner. I was an electrician with 25 years of experience, and I was done playing nice. For the next week, I made a plan. I traced every line, every breaker, every connection between the community center and the residential grid. It was all there, rather proof of their corruption, but also the weapon I needed. Late Friday night, when the HOA was hosting their exclusive members gala at the clubhouse, lights blazing, music thumping, I quietly opened the control panel behind the utility shed. I could hear their laughter from across the lawn. They had no idea what was coming. I took one deep breath, flipped open my toolkit, and with a few precise movements, I cut the power feeding into the entire HOA circuit. Not the residents' homes, just the clubhouse, pool, offices, and that pompous little meeting hall. Within seconds, the laughter turned to chaos. The music stopped mid-beat. The lights went out. The fountains sputtered dry. Then came the screams, confused, angry, panicked voices echoing through the night. "Who turned off the power?" someone shouted. I stood across the street, in the shadows, watching them scramble in their expensive clothes, waving their phones like flashlights. Karen was among them, her perfect hair now a tangled mess as she yelled orders no one could follow. And for the first time in months, I smiled. The blackout lasted nearly an hour before they finally called me, of course, the one man who could fix it. "Daniel," Karen said through gritted teeth on the phone, "we're having a power issue. Can you come take a look?" "Oh," I said, pretending to sound concerned. "Isn't that part of the HOA's responsibility?" "Daniel, please. We'll pay you." "Funny," I said, "because you already have been with my power." She went silent. "I know what you did," I continued. "You rerouted your entire building's electricity through my meter. You stole from me, and when I confronted you, you threatened me." "Daniel, let's not jump to save it," I cut in. "Tomorrow morning, I'll be filing a report with the county. I've got every wire, every reading, and every timestamp documented. Then I hung up. The next morning, I followed through. I contacted the county inspector, the local news, and the utility commission. Within days, the truth came out. The HOA had been illegally diverting electricity from multiple homeowners for over a year. Mine was just the biggest share. The investigation tore through Lakeside Meadows like a wildfire. The board was suspended, Karen was removed, and several members were charged with fraud. The HOA's shiny office was shut down for weeks, their power officially cut until they could pay their outstanding bills, every last cent of it. And in poetic justice, I was hired as the consultant to restore the neighborhood's electrical grid. The same people who once looked down on me now depended on me to bring light back to their homes. When I flipped the switches back on, the community cheered. But I made one thing clear in that moment: power doesn't belong to those who think they can control others. I said, it belongs to those who know how to use it responsibly. Weeks later, I received a letter, not a bill this time, but a formal apology from the restructured home. They offered to reimburse me and even reduce my fees permanently. But that wasn't the real victory. The real victory was walking through my neighborhood again, a peaceful, fair, and free of the corruption that once poisoned it. Neighbors who barely said hello before now stopped to thank me. Some even called me a hero. And though I never sought revenge to feel powerful, I couldn't help but remember that night, when the corrupt screamed in the dark, finally tasting the fear they'd forced on others. Moral of the story: sometimes the people in charge abuse their power, believing no one will stand up to them. But even one honest, determined person can expose the truth. Justice doesn't always come from fighting loudly. Sometimes it comes from flipping the right switch at the right moment. Because when you fight for what's right, light always returns.